In this video, we're going to talk about how to create a two-way binding via vanilla. You may already know that Vue already has this. Let's say I write it 99. I can increase from here also, and I can update from here also. This is what we are going to develop now. So I've created one input span. Span is where it's going to work as a display, and button is where we will be also updating the data too. Let me just remove the code so I can just show you what we have done. Because if you are familiar with Java's view, you already know that you define something called view data here. Now what we need to do is, let's create a custom property here. To do that, we call it as define property. Then we give the data here. We create a new element. Let's call it as prop. Here we will be again passing a JSON object. So it will have something called a setter, and it will also have something called getter. Whenever you set the data, it will call the setter, and whenever you get the data, it will call the. Let me just show you an example. What I do is, just to make sure we are on right track. So setter is called, and we log it. What we do is data prop. I call this. Let's see if we have a getter here. I guess something is missing from our end. We have to close it. As soon as I try to get the value, it says getter is called. If you try to set a value, the setter will be called here. One thing here is, whenever you define a new property to, let's say, a setter, you can get the value right away here. You can get the value. One thing here is, if you want to access the value of this prop, you can get it by doing this dot value. If you set a value, and now if you do a console log, you might get it undefined. You have to return the value. Return this dot value. It will be still undefined, only there will be no difference, because now we have to set a new value to it. So let me just call it here. So let's set this dot value to the value which we had. Getter is called with a value of 2. This dot value has become 2, and setter, which we have called right with the value which we were setting, that is 2. First, let's resolve a problem, that is from input to the span or the display, and then from the button to the span. So this is how we will be changing the value. Span is basically a display function. Let's create a function called display. This display will basically create an element. Let me just copy this, since we might be requiring it many times. Let's call this span as val here. In this element text, we will be applying the value of the data.prop. We will run this only once the value is set. Let me just call it here. Whenever someone tries to accept the value, this display will update. Let's say data.prop is equals to 9. Setter might be called, but this is not we really wanted. We want to change it from the input. So we take this input element. Now in this element dot, whenever there is something is changed on this input, we will update the data prop, that is equals to the event here, target dot value. Whatever I will write here, let's say 8. The listener spelling is, you can always check it like this, like add. I really not recommend you to do this. So I've added now if I try to update a value, as you can see, it's updating. But this looks quite simple. We don't want this right now. Now we want to update it from the button itself. So now this is a one-way binding. Let's say on button click, okay, you want to update the value. How you will do that? Let's create another button here. Let's say there is a click. Whenever something is getting clicked on this, so I want to update the prop value. I'm using a number here because the data prop can be a string and plus 1. This is all I want to do. I think something is missing. Let's call it as button. Perfect. Now let's just set a value. Let's call it 99, and now from this button also we can increment. So whatever I want to set, I can set it from this too. So this is a simple way how you can create a two-way binding via object dot define property. I hope you like this video. See you in the next video, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.